When we're working with units of measure and we want to change from one unit to another, we're going to use our different conversion units. So you'll see here in table 2.1, we have the US customary units. These are things that you've probably encountered by living in the United States. The Grand Canyon is 1.3 miles deep. But what if we wanted to know that in inches? So we're going to start with the number that's given to us. And we're going to be dealing with fractions. But don't worry, we're not going to be doing a lot with fractions here, but we do need to use fractions in order to keep up with what's happening. So I'm going to put this over 1 because anytime you have a number, you can put it over 1 and not change the actual number. Another thing that we need to know with fractions is that you can always multiply by 1, and this goes for any number. You can always multiply by 1 and not change the answer. So that's the premise behind what we're doing with these units of measure. I want to convert miles into inches. Unfortunately, when I look at table 2.1, I do not see an equivalent between 1 mile and a certain number of inches. What I do see is that 1 mile is 5,280 feet, and I see that 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So knowing that those are equivalent, that tells me that I can take 1 mile and I can take 5,280 feet, and these represent the same amount. Whether I'm traveling 1 mile or 5,280 feet, I've traveled the same distance. So I've created what's called this unit fraction because these are the same equivalent distance. I've essentially created a 1. And when I multiply by 1, I don't change the answer. So why did I put the 5,280 feet in the top, or the numerator, and 1 mile down in the bottom, or the denominator? Well, what I need to do here is I want my miles to cancel. Whenever you have a number in a fraction where you have the number above the line and a number below the line that are the same, they would cancel. The same thing happens when you have units. 1 unit above the line, the same unit below the line, they'll cancel. So here I will cancel the miles, leaving the numbers here. And so now I can figure out how to get from miles to feet. But I need to go to inches. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So I create a unit fraction with those two quantities, and I create it in such a way that my units will cancel. Since I currently have a foot above the line, I need to put the foot below the line. And so I take the 1 foot part of that equation, and I put the 12 inches part of that equation above the line. The last thing that you need to do once you have your units set up so that they cancel is anytime a number appears above the fraction line, you are going to multiply that number. Anytime a number appears below the fraction line, you're going to divide. It turns out fractions are just another way of representing division. So if you find a number below that fraction line, it means you'll need to divide. So for this problem, I'm going to take the 1.3, and I'm not going to type in the remaining zeros because I don't need to. Then I'm going to multiply by 5,280 and multiply by 12. My final answer, 82,368, is now in the remaining unit inches.